Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time, but before I get to that video, I just wanted to give you guys a little update because my life has been freaking crazy and I've been off YouTube for like maybe 2 months now or a month and a half, something like that. I know I look ridiculous and I'm breaking out right here. It's been a time, as we all know, because all of this stuff is going on and it's pretty crazy, but that's not why I've been off YouTube. I've been off YouTube because just a lot of things have changed in my life and I was trying to enjoy them, and then all this stuff happened and now Las Vegas is shut down starting today at 12, which I think it just hit 12 noon. So we're all supposed to be quarantined, except I'm gonna still have to work. I'll be still working, and that sucks, but I need to make money because no one else around me is gonna be making money, so I gotta hold shit down. So yeah, basically I just want to tell y'all I'm sorry that I've been gone. I'm gonna try and start up my YouTube again because it's just something that I love to do. I don't know, but yeah, this story time, just letting y'all know, I filmed this like 2 months ago. I think my hair was still like a brown in that video, so I'm about to edit it right now. Hopefully it'll be up today. If not today, then tomorrow. I'll have it up soon. I know I've been off of YouTube for a long time, but I didn't want to just come back with this story time and y'all like have no idea why I've been gone for so long. But I'm gonna start up my YouTube again. Don't even worry, I'm still gonna be back on it. I was enjoying my little brief time. My next video is probably gonna be a whole life update because my life has changed dramatically. But let me tell y'all, I am so freaking happy, and I hope that this COVID-19 thing gets under control so we can go back to living our best lives. And I hope everybody stays safe out there. Please be careful, everybody. Stay inside if you don't have to work. If you do have to work, be careful, wear gloves, wash your hands 35,000 times a day, and just stay healthy, stay safe. But yeah, guys, let's get into this story time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, my name is Nikki, and thank you so much for clicking on that's not my intro anymore. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, my name is Nikki, and I would love if you could subscribe to my channel. Today's video is going to be another story time. You already know it's February, or it's about to be February. I don't know when I'm posting this video, but like, it's lovers season. So what better way to bring in the season with the motherfucking story time? Dating horror story is what I should have said. But yeah, I have so many stories, guys, so many stories. I know somebody clicked on this video thinking that this is about them. I'm sparing you today, sweetie. Your time will come, but it ain't gonna be today. This story time is going to be about the time I dated a pathological liar. Now, I've dated a few pathological liars. This one, however, was not traumatizing and didn't give me PTSD, so that is why I can talk about it today. This story is wild, crazy, a fucking mess, but at the end of the day, it's funny. So I'm gonna tell the story today. Why the fuck not? This video might be super long because there's a lot of things that happen. Anyways, let's jump right into the video. Okay guys, so this story takes place way back in the day. Not way back in the day, but I was pretty young. I was not 20 yet, I think. Was I 20? I might have been 20. 19, 20. I wasn't legally allowed to drink, but I was drinking. Let me just say. So, there was this boy, okay? So let me explain. I was single, living my life. I was in like my prime, okay? I was like prime time fuck girl. Not a fuck boy, I was like a fuck girl, if that makes sense. And I was just doing my thing. I was like, I didn't give a fuck about anybody or anything. I was hurting people, they were hurting me. It was a whole thing, okay? I talk about this in probably all my story times, but I was in a bad place back in the day, and I was like right in the middle of this bad place, okay? Like right in the fucking middle. One night, me and my friends go out. I'm single, right? Like I said, I was single for fucking years, right? I go out to this party. I had just started hanging out with my friend. I'm gonna call her Becky, okay? So Becky and I were friends in high school, then like we weren't friends anymore, and then we're friends again. And she had different friends in high school than I. So I was friends with the football players and cheerleaders. She was friends with some cheerleaders, but other people that weren't jocks, if that makes sense. I went with her, my other friend, I'm gonna name her Catherine. So it was Becky and Catherine, and then I think it was just us three, and we ended up going to this kickback. So Catherine and I were pretty close. We were kind of like best friends, sort of. Catherine just... I'll tell you about Catherine in a second. Let's get to this party. Back in the day, when I went out, I always wanted to find a boy to flirt with for the night and then just like leave, you know? I wanted to like have fun, you know? Is that a fucking crime? Back then? Probably was. I see this guy and he was, in my opinion, the cutest guy there, but he wasn't cute in real life. He was alright. He's not ugly. He's not ugly at all, but he's just not my type, okay? So I like men who are like tall, at the time played like football or like sports guys, you know, those types of guys. And this guy was totally opposite. He was not short. I mean, he was taller than me. I'm 5'7", but he was maybe like 5'9". He was skinny. He was like, he wore beanies and he was like a skater boy. He was like cute in that genre, but that genre wasn't my style. He was cute for who he hung out with. Alright, so I'm talking to Becky and Catherine and I'm like, who's that guy over there? And they look at me like, what do you mean, who is that? That's, oh my god, I didn't think of a name for him. Blake. I don't know. They're like, what are you talking about? That's Blake. And I'm like, okay, who's Blake? I never seen him before in my life. And they're like, Nicole, he literally went to middle school and high school with us. You know him. And I'm like, I don't know him. Never knew him. He never come by. I literally did not know this guy. So then Catherine looks at me and she's like, Nicole, I've always told you that he was cute. And I'm like, really, bitch? Here we fucking go. Catherine was one of those. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She literally is looking at me. She's like, I always told you that he was so cute. I've always talked about him. Never in her life. Never in her life did she talk about this guy because I didn't know who the fuck he was. I promise y'all, I didn't know who the fuck he was, okay? She never spoke about him to me. If she did, I don't think it was to me, but okay, whatever. Sure, girl, right? You claimed him, you do you. I had that in the back of my mind, like, ugh, Catherine thinks he's hot, whatever, fuck. I don't make my move on him, whatever. But then, Catherine, this night, like, okay, within 10 minutes of each other, she starts talking about this other guy that she's talking to, okay? She's like, oh my god, I want to see blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, blah, 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 this, blah. She's like talking about this whole different guy. So I'm like, okay, obviously you don't give a fuck about Blake because you like this other guy. So what is it, girl? Catherine straight up was acting like Blake was her ex when they never even said 3 words to each other. And then Catherine's also talking about blah, blah, blah. So then blah, blah, blah. I don't want to make a name for him because he's so irrelevant. So blah, blah, blah ends up picking up Catherine from this party. She leaves the kickback to go hang out with blah, blah, blah and do her thing with him. Blake is free to fucking talk to. I go up to Blake, okay? I go up to Blake. I'm like, hey, I'm Nicole. He's like, I know. I'm like, oh, my bad. I didn't fucking know you. But it became like an inside joke because I didn't know who he was. So I'm sitting there talking to Blake. Blake is playing beer pong, right? So I used to do this thing, okay? It works every fucking time. I don't know about now. Do people still play beer pong? Do people still go to kickbacks? I don't fucking know. But back in the day, this worked all the time. You go up to a cute boy and you say, hey, can I get that celebrity shot? And then, of course, they're gonna say no. They always fucking say no. So you act cute, part your lashes, you're like, come on, please, I'm really good. And they finally give in, and they're like, okay. Now, here's the thing. I was really good at beer pong. So I was pretty confident all the time that I was gonna make it. So I shoot the ball, I make it. Now they're impressed with me. Now they want me to be their beer pong partner for the rest of the night. Okay, but if it didn't work, if I missed it, it didn't matter because I was like, oh my god. My bad. And then I looked cute and then they thought I was this cute little girl who didn't know how to play beer pong, and it just always worked. It was like my go-to move. Let me get a celebrity shot. So stupid, I know, but that shit worked, okay? Men are stupid. I asked this boy, I'm like, hey, can I get a celebrity shot? He's like, nah. And I'm like, come on, you guys are winning. I'm really good. Even if I miss it, it's not gonna matter. Whatever, I really don't remember. I shot it, I made it, because I don't know if I made it. I'm pretty sure I made it because I ended up being his beer pong partner for the next game. The next game is going on, and basically I'm really good at beer pong, so I make almost all the shots until the end. I cannot make the final cup. I don't know why. I can get us there, can't make the final cup. So at the end we made a little bet and it was like whoever can make the final cup gets a kiss. I know, stupid. I don't remember what happened. Him and I end up making out, whatever, no big deal. And that is it. That is the first night I meet him. We don't get each other's numbers, nothing. It was just a fun night, but like I said, he wasn't the typical guy I would go for. And I know I wasn't the typical girl he'd go for because he liked the skater girls. I was a cheerleader. Moving on, Catherine finds out I made out with Blake. She doesn't care because she's on cloud 9 because she just did whatever with blah blah blah. And yeah, it's a good night. We're all cool. Everything's fine. So I'm like, all right, like she don't care, whatever. Not a big deal. Time moves on and I start seeing him a little bit more because of Becky. So Becky and him had kind of the same friend group, so I started seeing him a little more and a little more. Every time we would go out, him and I would end up making out, but like I said, we would never get each other's numbers because we just weren't we just weren't that into each other at the end of the day. Then okay, here's where the story gets a little juicy. Me and my girls all planned this Las Vegas trip. I think he was 21, so I had to be 20. So he was already 21. Some of my friends were 21. I had a fake ID. Some of my other friends had fake IDs. And we all get this big group. It's literally like 12 of us. We get this big group of people and decide we're all going to go to Vegas. And Blake is one of the people who decides to come. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have somebody, you know, like the weekend's going to be lit because, you know, you have like your person that's not your person. You can still do whatever the fuck you want. But at the end of the day, they're there, you know. Does that make sense? So everyone gets together, we all go to Vegas. We have 2 rooms, right? So one next to each other, but they have like the connecting doors. We were all in one room. Everyone together was in one room and we're all just downing shots. We're just taking crazy shots, having a great time. And then for some reason or another, Blake and I end up crossing over to the other room. Now, the connecting doors, they automatically lock. So you have to knock to open, to get the person to open the door. So it's not like we lock the door ourselves. They just automatically lock. So people can just walk in and out of your room. I mean, it's a hotel room, makes sense. So Blake and I end up in the other room and Blake and I are not even doing anything. He's sitting on the bed and I'm literally doing my makeup. And then I hear pounding on the door. And him and I both look at each other and then we look at the door and it's not like a, hey, let me in. It's like a banging on the door. And we both look at each other like, what the fuck? And all I hear on the other end is Catherine calling me a slut, a bitch, a whore. Catherine's drunk out of her mind and she's obviously mad about Blake because her and her guy were fighting. So she didn't want nobody else to be happy. She's drunk too, so I'll give her that. She's like banging and banging on the door like a fucking maniac and she's like, you fucking stupid slut, you stupid whore, you're such a fucking whore, open the fucking door, you whore. And obviously I'm not gonna open the door. What the hell? She's gonna attack me. I'm not opening the door. So then Blake looks at me saying, should we open the door? I'm like, don't open the fucking door. She's crazy. She's drunk. Like, I know how Catherine is. And then all of a sudden I hear like knocks from the front door, which was Becky and her friend, but I still didn't want to open the door because I was afraid that Catherine was gonna like fucking go wild on me, right? And then we finally opened the door, like the front door for Becky and her friend, and we're just like, what the fuck was that? You know, like I'm literally like, what the fuck is going on in there? And they're mad at us because we didn't open the door for them. So Blake is like, I'm sorry, we just didn't want to be in that crossfire of what was going on. And then Blake is like, I'll buy you guys a big ass Fat Tuesday to apologize for not opening the door for Becky and her friend. So they leave. So I open the door finally to Catherine. So Catherine's in that room. My other friend Jenna is in that room. And then a couple of guys that I was friends with were in that room too. So I end up opening the door for them. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Catherine runs up to me and this bitch looks at me and she goes, oh my God, did you hear Jenna going crazy right now, calling you a slut and a whore? I'm sorry. Okay? What? Huh? How? When? Why? What? Catherine, I know that was you. I know that was you. Catherine goes crazy on me, okay? She just fucking snaps, okay? She starts yelling at me. She's like, how are you gonna have Jenna's back over my back? I'm telling you it was Jenna and you think it's me? They have very different voices. I know Jenna and I know Catherine. It was Catherine. 250%. You can't even mix them up. And Jenna wouldn't do that. But Catherine would. Catherine is that type of person. So I'm like, Catherine, fucking chill, dude. Like, what is your problem? Catherine starts fucking going crazy on me, right? She's yelling at me. I'm like not trying to get into it with her. I fought her before. I'm not trying to fight her again. Catherine's still fucking mouthing off on me. And I'm just like, dude, whatever. So I'm like walking back to the other room so I could finish my makeup. Tell me why. Tell me why. Catherine literally says, get the fuck out of my face. I'm already turning around and leaving. Pushes my face hard. Basically slaps me without slapping me. She just like shoves my face. And now 20-year-old Nikki, don't touch her. I had a fucking temper. You touch me, I'm throwing fucking hands. I don't care. The second she put her hands on me, I turn around, I busted her lip. She grabs me by my hair. She's literally pulling my hair out of my head. I could feel it ripping. Like I could hear it like hair coming out of the top of my head. When I tell you, I almost lost my shit. I'm throwing hands, y'all. Like I'm literally throwing hands on her. I'm like landing punches. I'm fighting. And she's just pulling my hair, pulling my hair, pulling my hair. She ends up on top of me. So why are my guy friends saying, Nikki, get off her, you're hurting her? I said, she's on top of me. Get her off me. What the hell? All I hear is, Nikki, you're hurting her. Nikki, stop. Nikki, you're hurting. And I'm literally yelling, get her off of me. Get this bitch off of me. My friend Jose pulls her off me and he's like, you know, he breaks up the fight, whatever. Immediately, Catherine starts bursting into tears, okay? Catherine starts crying. Her lip is bleeding. I run to the mirror because I swear to God I had a bald spot on my head. I'm looking. My hair was perfectly fine, but I thought I for sure had a bald spot on my head. I was going to go crazy. And I just turn around and look at Catherine and she's sobbing and there's blood on her mouth. And I'm just like, why did you do this, girl? Like, why did you do this? I end up getting ready. She ends up fixing herself. And then she comes to me and she goes, Nikki, please don't tell anybody we fought. And I'm like, girl, your lip is like this big, okay? Your lip is swollen. I don't have to tell anybody we fought because everybody's gonna see that. You can't hide that, honey. Oh my God, I love her. Like, I'm really good friends with her now, but at this time, we were just in a rocky spot, guys. I don't know what was going on with us back then. But like now, that's my girl. Back then, I don't know. So basically, we get in a fight because she's pretty much called me a whore and a slut, and she was mad that I was with Blake in the room. That's what happens, okay? So I just had to tell, I know this has nothing to do with Blake, but like this is the beginning and like it ties in at the end. But yeah, the rest of the weekend happens. Catherine got me back. I don't remember one of the nights we got in a fight because she wanted the key to the room. I wanted the other key. She didn't want to give it to me just because she was being petty, and I tried grabbing it from her and this bitch literally kicks me right in the stomach and I went down. Like this girl got me good. So she got me back. But after this weekend, Blake and I end up getting each other's number through Becky. It had already been maybe like 6 weeks, like a long time, and we weren't planning on being anything with each other. But anyways, we end up getting each other's numbers. Now Blake and I were pretty much neighbors, so Blake and I end up hanging out more and more just with each other, and we actually start dating. But it was weird because, okay, here's the thing. He had an ex-girlfriend that he was clearly still in love with. I knew he was still in love with her. I didn't care because I was still in love with my ex. The only difference is that he didn't know I was still in love with my ex, or that I was still hanging out with my ex. But I knew that he was still in love with his ex and that he was hanging out with his ex. This dude thought that I was like way more into him than I actually was. He thought that he was playing me when really we were doing the exact same thing to each other. The only difference was I was slick as fuck about it. He wasn't. He really thought he was pulling a fast one by me, but I was the one pulling a fast one on him. It got to a point where I was literally dating like 3 guys at once. I remember splitting the day between 3 boys and he was one of them. Like he took me to lunch one day. I had breakfast with someone one day. He took me to lunch and then I went and hung out at night with another boy. So like I literally was still talking to a bunch of guys. Blake knew nothing of it. But come on, you're over here spending a bunch of time with your ex. What do you think I'm doing at that time? You think I'm just sitting at home twiddling my thumbs? Come on. He is going to school with Catherine. They have the same class together. I was no longer friends with Catherine at this point. After the Vegas trip, Catherine and I just would not talk, okay? So I guess I found out later that when they would have class together, Catherine and Blake would talk about me. I didn't know this at the time. I didn't really care. I knew they had class together. I didn't care. I found this out later though. One night I'm talking to him and I'm talking to him about his ex and I'm like, oh no, let me tell y'all. We went to Disneyland together, okay? So him and I went to Disneyland, and on this Disneyland date, he spent the whole day talking about his ex. Like the whole fucking day, which made me feel better because I was still in love with my ex and I was planning to get back with my ex. I guess it like worked out, didn't bother me because I was like, okay, cool. Like he has other engagements, so do I. Good, we're on the same page. So later on into the relationship, whatever the fuck it was, I'm asking him about his ex and I'm like, do you still like her? What's going on? And I just wanted him to tell me that he did like her so I can tell him, cool, because I like my ex. Like I just wanted to have that conversation. I'm literally trying to have these conversations with him, not because I want to be with him or because I like him. I mean, I did like him, but I wasn't like falling in love with him at all or anything like that. But I was like trying to have these conversations so I could be like, dude, I'm on the same page as you. But he was so into himself and narcissistic that he couldn't fathom the fact that I might be into somebody else. He really, really thought that I was super fucking into him. So I'm like trying to make it clear, but he won't let me make it clear because he's literally lying to me. I don't talk to her. I don't like her. Like making up all these things. Literally just lying nonstop about his ex. And I'm just like, dude, can you just be honest with me so I can be honest with you? And we can like either end this or keep doing what we're doing. But like, I just want you to know like where I am. But he wouldn't ask me because he literally thought I was like in love with him. We would say that we're fuck buddies and we're friends with benefits, and we would say that, and I don't know why he thought I was like in love with him. I don't understand it to this day. I just honestly think he was very narcissistic and delusional. So one day, I don't know what happened between him and I, but I was literally talking to two other guys at this point, right? I was like kind of talking to these other guys. It wasn't anything serious, but you know, I was like texting them and like hanging out with them. One was my ex and then one was another guy. And I forgot what happened between us, but him and I kind of stopped texting as much. We kind of just separated without saying anything to each other, and I honestly wasn't stressed about it. I think I had talked to Becky about it a few times, but like at the end of the day, I was completely content talking to these other guys, my ex and some other guy. One day I'm hanging out with Becky, and Becky and I are in her room when I get a call from Blake. I don't answer it. Tell me why there's a 2-minute long voicemail on my phone from Blake. He's like basically breaking up with me and he's telling me he just doesn't feel it's so stupid. He's like saying that he doesn't feel the same as me and that he's just a bad person and he's so sorry. He keeps playing victim, like I'm such a bad person, I'm so sorry, like I don't know why I'm like this, you're such an amazing girl. Like he's like the stupidest fucking voicemail of my life. I'm listening to it with Becky and we're laughing because we're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this dude's crazy. Like, what? So pretty much, I don't remember what happened. I don't know. I know I didn't call him back. I probably texted him, and I don't know what happened between the text messages. I wish I could fucking remember. I'm pretty sure I texted him, and then we like had a conversation. It ended, but then we ended up hanging out again. We ended it, but then we ended up hooking up again. So we end up falling back into the same thing. I'm telling you, this like little situationship lasted for like a long time, for fucking months, okay? We end up hooking up again and hanging out again, and we start hanging out with each other quite a lot. We're hanging out and I get a text from Catherine one day and she's like, hey, I don't know if you're like talking to Blake or what's going on with you and Blake, but I saw him hanging out with his ex today during break at school, and she had like her legs on top of him and all this stuff, right? So she starts telling me basically that Blake and his ex were all over each other at school. So then I hit up Blake and I'm like, what's going on? You know, like, are you with her? Are you not? Because I don't want to be involved in this. Like, I don't want to be in this like love triangle type shit, even though I had other dudes, okay? But like the point is, I ain't nobody's second choice. No, but like I just didn't want to be involved in that. I didn't want any drama with her, you know, like with that girl type shit. So I was just like, what is going on? He still wouldn't be honest with me about her. He would not be honest with me about her. So I was like, whatever. So I kind of just started like pushing it off. Him and I stopped talking again. Like the same thing happens where we kind of just pushed each other away. And like I said, I was perfectly fine because I was dealing with other people. I was perfectly fine then. One day I'm just chilling, okay? I'm literally getting ready to hang out with somebody else when I get a long paragraph from no one other than Blake breaking up with me again. Literally telling me like, I can't do this, I'm sorry, I'm a bad person, I know you really like me, just all this stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, where is this coming from? So he sends me like a fucking essay worth of shit. So I respond, okay, period. Just okay, because I did not fucking care and I was going on a date, okay? Was not trying to have this conversation. I was going out and I didn't care. Why this boy respond to me saying, see, this is your problem. You don't give a fuck about anything. So you know I don't give a fuck, yet you think I'm in love with you. Which one is it? Do I not give a fuck or do I give too many fucks? Because the way that you talk to me, you assume that I'm so in love with you. But then I don't give a fuck about anything or anyone. You're right, I don't give a fuck. But like, what was that essay for then? And what you mean my problem? That's not my problem. That's your problem. Because obviously you're the one worried about it. I don't fucking care. So I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but you have your situation with your ex. I know you say that like you're not anything with her, but I know that you are, and I just don't want to be a part of it. And it doesn't hurt my feeling. I'm not saying it out of ill will or like malice or anything. I just literally don't want to be a part of it and I don't care. Anyways, him and I are done. I don't want anything to do with him. He don't want nothing to do with me. Everything is a-okay. After we figure out that we're just like never gonna date, we become friends, okay? Like literally we become really good friends. This dude was a really good friend. Not a good like person to date, but he was a really good friend. We end up having a conversation. No, wait, this comes after. Let me tell you first. Okay. Catherine, one day, her and I, we make up. Blake and I are no longer a thing. Catherine and I make up. Catherine ends up coming to my house. She starts asking me what happened with Blake and I. And I'm just telling her, dude, I don't know. He thought I was so into him. He was literally like, I don't know what was wrong with him. He was delusional, narcissistic. He just thought that I thought he was the light of my life. I don't know. He thought I wanted like a real relationship with him and I didn't. The whole time I knew that he was still with his ex, or not with her, but he was still like trying to fix things with his ex. And I'm like, whole time I was dealing with, you know who. She knew exactly who I was dealing with. I was still dealing with so-and-so, and I was talking to so-and-so and so-and-so, and she was like mind blown. She was just like, Nicole, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, it was fucking crazy. She goes, hold on, Nicole, what? And I'm like, what, girl, what? And she's like, I heard a totally different story from Blake. And I'm like, of course you did. Of course, this dude's crazy. I'm like, what did you hear? She's like, dude, I heard that you were like so clingy, so in love with him, that you would like text him nonstop, that you would always fight with him about his girl, his ex. And I was like, okay, look, there's a little truth to that, because I would bring up his ex because I wanted him to tell me he still liked her so that I could tell him I still liked my ex. I wanted to be on the same terms and he just wouldn't let me. And she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude. And she's like, I knew this didn't sound like you. Like, he would tell me all these things about you and I knew it didn't sound like you, because Catherine and I went way back. She knew me dealing with so many guys. Like, she knew the ins and outs of me, and she knows I'm not that bitch. So she's telling me, dude, I fucking knew that was like weird. Like, he would tell me these things and I'd be like, what the fuck? Nicole's not like that. And supposedly she said this. She probably was eating it up though, because she low-key liked Blake, but supposedly telling me that she knew that I wasn't like that. And like, it's just crazy the things that Blake told her. He literally lied to her about so much and for no reason. So I look at her and I'm like, here, I bring up the text messages and I'm like, go through our text messages, read them. She's reading all this stuff and she is like mind blown. She's like, Nicole, he made you seem like you were so in love with him. Is there anything in there that makes it seem like I'm in love with him? And she's like, no. Nothing. What is wrong with this guy? She tells me that shit and I'm like, this dude's fucking crazy. Anyways, time moves on. It's not over yet, okay? Him and I end up becoming really good friends. He would talk to me about other girls. I would talk to him about other guys. We were just cool like that. Well, one day we both are drinking a little bit and we end up talking about things that happened with us. I look at him and I'm like, hey, I heard that you thought I was so in love with you because I was like bringing up your ex, but like, I just want you to know that I was always fucking with my ex the entire time. I was still fucking with my ex. So like, I was asking you about her so that you could tell me the truth and then I could tell you the truth and then we could just like be cool with what we were doing. And when I tell y'all, his eyes, like he could not believe what I was saying. He was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, yeah, I was never mad about you and your ex. I don't fucking care, because I was like kicking it with my ex and like I would ask you about it so that you could come clean so that I could come clean. His mind was like, phew. And I'm like, and I don't appreciate you making people think that I was in love with you when that's just like not the fucking case. I basically had that conversation with him and we just stopped kicking it. I don't know if he was embarrassed or what, but like we just like stopped being friends. He wasn't just telling Catherine these things, like he was telling his boys. I knew that he was telling the guys that he would kick it with that I was in love with him. Anyways, I didn't know that he was this pathological crazy liar because I just figured he was just lying to me, you know, like he was just lying to me about his ex, like no big deal. He would always lie to me about her. But the fact that he was twisting our relationship and like my feelings towards him, the way that he was describing me to people, it was like fucking crazy. I feel like pathological liars actually believe their lies and that's why they keep telling them. Me and my friends, we laugh about it now. We'll bring him up and we'll fucking crack up. This dude thought he was gonna be a musician. He thought he was like a really good writer. I remember one time he tried to say that I was illiterate in like a rhyme or whatever. And he literally looks at me, he's like, I'm writing a song about you. I'm like, okay. And he goes, how do you spell illiterate? And then I remember one night I was at his house and he was like writing a song and he couldn't finish it. So I was like, oh, here, I'll finish it for you. Because I'm a really good writer. I write poetry and I could write a fucking whole song in like a minute. So I was like, here, I'll just finish it for you. He was so shook. He was like, I didn't know you could write. Like, you're a writer. Like, oh my God. But he went from being like, I'm this really good writer and musician to like not being that at all. And like he just thought he was a really good singer, a good guitar. I mean, he was good at guitar, don't get me wrong, but he just thought he was like this like great amazing guy. Like, oh my God. But yeah guys, that is the story of when I dated a narcissistic pathological liar that fucking lied on me and tried to make everyone think that I was obsessed and in love with him when in actuality I was the one playing him. So oh my God, that was like a time in my life where I was like, I need to stop because there's people like this in the world and people are thinking I'm like, I want to have his babies or something because like that's just not my thing. I needed to calm down back then. When I tell you, I really needed to calm down. Thank God. Like I'm good now. Like I would never talk to anybody now while still being in love with an ex. Like no. But yeah, you guys, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video down below and also subscribe to my channel. I will be telling more story times soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. I love you so much and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!